What's happening, folks? Welcome to another match reaction on my channel. This evening, Champions League football has been secured thanks to a 2-0 victory over Leicester in United's final game of the Premier League season. So, Champions League football is back. Amazing that we managed to turn this around after so much problems at the start of the season. So we're going to go through the action to the match today. The league table is going to be updated and I'm going to love updating it. But I'd like to stress before we go into the celebration of top four, this is not enough. It has to be a springboard and a next step rather than this is what we're happy with. And the proof will be in the eating when the season pre-season transfer window finishes and we see what United actually do now they've got Champions League football. So thoughts on the game down below, guys. Thoughts on what you think of the season. There will be a podcast at some point. It might even be tonight. I don't think it's a bit late to do a podcast now, but we'll do one tomorrow when we talk about the season. So down below is the podcast. So a more in-depth analysis of the season will be done in that podcast. I may try and put the podcast on my YouTube channel as well for you guys as well. I may just put an image and put the podcast on YouTube. I'll try and do that if I possibly can. So United today, it was only an edgy game and it got even more edgy early on when it became apparent that Chelsea were going to win their match against Wolves. I didn't watch the game, obviously, too much United. Actually, my brain's fried from the last few weeks of just going through every single permutation and thinking what's going to happen. I didn't think United would get top four. I really didn't, because the gap behind, we were 18 points swing over Leicester. The tanness of the team that kicked in back into the year, and the fact that Leicester had a week off as well. The plus side was Leicester had players injured, and we got very lucky with that one. If they're a full strength team, who knows? Different story, isn't it? Well, potentially. So the story of the game was essentially Leicester had a back five, if I remember correctly, and then they were forcing United down the wide areas. Now, never made a great comment of it in the pre-match, or during the game, sorry, that United think they're doing well because they're getting the ball in wide areas, but Leicester want us to have the ball, and Leicester wanted us to have the ball, and he's bang on with that statement. That's one of the things that United's fullbacks that's a problem. They attacking wise, they're not great. I think Williams is slightly better than Wan-Bissaka, but we need to work on our fullback attacking because it is an issue. And if the force is out wide, if our fullbacks are good at attacking, then it's not as much of a problem as it is right now. Again, pressure from the back was a problem. United looked a bit leggy or a bit reserved. Maybe, I don't know if that was a tactical thing that Ollie told them to be tight and make sure they don't give anything away too easily, or is just a continuation of the legginess we've seen United in the last few weeks, and especially since Southampton game. And then maybe a bit of the Villa game as well, so we got the first goal. And the first half was pretty even. I think as the half went on, United were slightly better I say better, I mean they improved. Not so much they were a better team than Leicester. Leicester had a few moments. I think Lindelof had a good game today. I have to give him credit for that. He had a great game today. Lindelof. Matic was good as well overall. But Lindelof, again, that's the thing. Lindelof can be great in that game and then drop a clanger in the next. And that's the problem. The consistency is the problem. And Maguire hinted at it in the post-match interview. Early in the season, we had great performances, had great periods of games, and then just drop off massively and lose matches. I'm thinking Liverpool, we were brilliant throughout the whole game and dropped off right at the end and equalised. And there's so many examples you can point to. So the news at the start of the game was that Luke Shaw got injured. He's out till next season. That's not far away, is it? It's September when the next season starts, which is disappointing. And I think the left-back situation is something we look at. I don't think it's a priority in the summer, though. I think if there was obviously a target they're looking at long-term, came available and they could do the deal, then obviously I'm all for that. But I think there's a areas which we need to strengthen ideally first before we start doing, looking at areas that could be improved, not areas that need strengthening. There's the distinction being strengthening means that just week to week could improve. Like, well, we've got players that are good. Just need to maybe up it a little bit. And the priority is obviously strengthening areas first. So obviously there's a Rashford chance where he just missed it. He was off balance. He tried to place it. He considered it first time, then took a touch and then just didn't quite got underneath and scooped it a little bit. Then he had a great shot from a corner kick later on in the first half. Great save from Kasper Schmeichel. Close enough. The first half was very edgy. It became very apparent United to get a result because Chelsea were 2-0 up, and Chelsea 2-0 up at home against Wolves was pretty damning that they were going to win that game. I didn't see the game. I may watch Match of the Day tonight and watch the fallout from everything. But yeah, it looked like a pretty straightforward performance from Chelsea. I don't know if the game played out that way at all. Second half, United needed to up their game. And it felt a lot like the West Ham United match for me. United were showing glimpses even there of good balls into the middle and getting forward a little bit. And Marta got through and didn't quite get his feet right. And there's a few moments in there where they were making risky passes. I would like to say Williams had a good game for me personally. I think he did very well. A lot of recovery tackles when they were counter-attacking us and generally looked solid on the ball. I don't recall him misplacing a massive cross-field pass today like he's done before. I may be wrong in that. Don't quote me on that, but I don't recall him doing one of those. And then it's starting to ease. It's starting to grow, and I'm starting to think this is feeling a lot like West Ham United, just different ground. But then the big moment in the match and the winning moment in the match, great closing down by Greenwood. Bruno, up to that point, had a really bad few minutes. There's a lot of passes that usually he nails. He was giving away. He was being sloppy. Even the simple passes was being sluggish. But what a ball through to Martial. It's first time, mate. It's absolutely on the money. And then there's a foul. I can't remember who got booked for it now. I can't remember who got booked for the foul on Martial. Now, it is a penalty, regardless of what the Manchester United guys will be saying. Who got booked for that tackle on? Well, it's got to be. I'm trying to find a text. Who? I'm trying to find a text. I want to see who got booked for, because I'm not sure who gave away the penalty, because they both tackled him and both gave. Right. Right. It was Johnny Evans who got booked for it. It's a penalty. Now, people are quoting United got 14 penalties this season. City got 11. VAR's fine one penalties. There's a couple. One stands out really we shouldn't have got, which was the Villa one. And I have to look back at the other penalties and see what. But I remember one against Arsenal, one given for an handball. I seem to remember. But yeah, I mean, everyone's in Manchester United. No one's really disputing the penalties, in my view. That was a penalty today. It was. And City got 11 penalties. So to say United got lucky this season, it's not lucky. You don't go, 14 games in the league being lucky. You don't. It's just a cheap way of people venting frustration. United got top four. I look again until I see every single penalty at some point. I don't know how many were iffy and how many weren't, but I'm sure for every penalty that we didn't get, I'm pretty sure I can find at least 2 or 3 more in our favour that should have been given and weren't given, or could have been given. And again, it's all about, I think, a lot of the issues we're having. For example, right now, we should have a penalty against Arsenal. I remember that one at Old Trafford. I'm sure it was handball. I'm pretty sure it was Arsenal. And then the Bournemouth got one this season against us when Bayer hit his shoulder. So, and it's 40 penalties over the course of the season. I wonder how those penalties in those games were winning matches. I mean, games with lost those penalties, but that's the thing. So penalty given, and it's a big moment. Bruno Fernandes has been iffy throughout the whole match, especially those early minutes. Little skip and place in the corner. I hit the roof when that went in. That was a big moment. And after that, obviously, then Leicester up their game. They brought, I think, is it 3 times in a row? They brought on in a row at that point. And then United's game management, which is something I've really, really been frustrated by since Mourinho, was a lot better. There was half chances. I think Vardy scooped one into his hands. Morgan was just slightly getting these crosshairs with where the ball on his foot was. And he looked at the Leicester City bench. It was a kind of hilarious moment when the guys on the bench going, oh dear. And then there was a couple of other instances where cheap free kicks given away and I think Vardy hit the bar at 0-0. And then United just seemed to just slowly just manage the game better. They were getting the balls, they were buying free kicks, they were making sure they got there first. I think some of the chances Leicester got later on in the second half were down to tiredness. I think Ollie said that post-match, that they are tired, leggy. You can't say that during the season though, can you? Because it gives an open goal for criticism and also gives a big leg up to the opponents that you're playing against. But it's been obvious that they're leggy and tired. It's obvious. They've got a few days now off till the 5th of August, I think it is, when next time we play in the Europa League. Hopefully get some legs, energy back in the legs. But the Europa League now is actually a really, really fun competition now. It's no pressure on us. We can watch the competition and hopefully get a trophy. It'd be nice to win a trophy. Nice to get top 4 and third, by the way. And it's. And then the icing on the cake was Lingard. Now I've been critical of Lingard. I'll still be criticising him. I sympathise, like I always say every time I talk about Lingard. I always say the same line. I do sympathise for the issues off the pitch he's had. My criticism has always been on his footballing ability and what I think his strengths are and what we need in that position. My issue with Lingard is he's great running. He's got energy. He works hard. But when it comes to 90% of the games we play, he hasn't got that cutting edge or that finishing composure to get the goals. Luckily today he did when it was open net. And what I thought was a really nice moment when they cut back to a behind the goal shot. Every single United, apart from De Gea, though I may be wrong with that actually, ran to Lingard. And it's a big moment for him. Now, will he be here next season? I don't know. I think there's a good chance he will be, because I can't see Lingard, Pereira and Mata all leaving. I think one will leave. I think one has to leave. I think most likely Lingard will leave, because I think the same about Lingard. I think the fact he changed agents to Mino Raiola, and the fact that I think Mata is a good experienced player to have around for younger players. I'm not saying that's the reason I should keep him, but I was trying to think of reasons why I can think might be more likely to say than the other. And he scores a really good finish, and it was a good big moment for him, and it's 2-0. So the league table, United have finished third in the Premier League. United's first half of the season was always completely avoidable. It was completely avoidable if they'd just done the business in the summer that they should have done. Bruno should have come in the summer. We'll get into this more tomorrow's podcast, maybe later tonight in the podcast. It's probably going to be tomorrow. I think the lads are going to be too drained to do a podcast this evening. United have lost less games than City. They've drawn too many games. They've lost less than Chelsea. They've lost less than Leicester City. And to say United are lucky, league table doesn't lie. You deserve to finish where you finish. Even Liverpool, they deserve to win the league. Hate to say it, but it's true. And if you go down, you deserve to go down. The league table at the end never lies. United have finished third, and that did not look likely at any point until the restart. Now, United get lucky in one sense, in that the restart helped the pause helped us get Pogba and Rashford back fit. So we got that's one thing we got lucky with, I will admit. But you've still got to go on the pitch to do business, and this has shown that Ollie is the right guy right now. Is he the guy to take us forward to win the league? I don't know. But he's taken a United team that was on its knees early on with the lack of strikers options, no midfield of creativity at all, and got them back in Champions League in his first full season. Give the guy what he wants. Ollie's now got to be really strong and say, I want this, this and this. Give me it. Because you've got to give the guy a fair go. I do not want to see what happened under Jose Mourinho, where they got second that year, and they just binned off next summer. This is the time to really push on your advantage. Virgil always used to say, when you win things, when you don't win, you've got to strengthen. When you do win things, or when you do achieve things, and you're in a good position of strength, which arguably United, it's not a competition win. It's just a stepping stone. They've got to go again. It's that courage to go, yeah, this is good, but push again. We've got to close the gap on City and Liverpool. Can we catch them next season? I don't think so. Unless we sign some amazing talent at old Joe next season. Even then, Liverpool may just be, if Liverpool maintain the levels this season, then I don't think anyone touches them. But I don't think they'll be as good this year as they've been next season has been this season. But I do think they'll be a team to beat. City will improve. Chelsea have already improved. United now have got the top three, and they've got to send a signal that this is not the minimum. This is not what we want to achieve. We want to achieve more than that. So, man of the match today. It's a tough one. Because I didn't think United were amazing today. And I'm going to go with... it's a toss-up between Matic and Lindelof. I think Matic, because I think he was very good in midfield today. But it's a close one. No one was amazing today, but the team was much better. But the leggy team was a problem for the back half of the season. And hopefully they can have a few better players and better quality in the team and just improve that strength and depth. And maybe also the young players developing a bit more, had more time, could help out as well. So we'll do a full podcast rundown maybe later tonight. If not, it'll be tomorrow on the season. I'm sure the lads will be very excited to do that. Thank you for watching, folks. I do apologise if I've been a bit later. It's review been late out, but it is difficult to do when you've been working for 5 hours straight and you're knackered, and the emotional drain of trying to get top four. So this is not. I'm not celebrating as a trophy. This is like, yeah, it's good, but I want more. We've got to go again. We've got to keep building on this. It can't be the end. It's got to be the start and a building block to something greater. Thank you so much, folks. Your thoughts down below on the match down below, and your man match, and what you thought about this season. There'll be a podcast out tomorrow on the Let's Talk United podcast. Down below is links to that podcast down below, and I'll see you all next time. But I think United are back in the Champions League. Bye-bye.